All right, buckle up, everyone, because today on the Deep Dive, we are diving headfirst into a music industry feud that is exploding all over the news.
Yeah, this one is juicy.
It's Drake versus his own label, Universal Music Group, and honestly, it's getting messy.
Definitely messy.
We're talking accusations of a conspiracy, manipulation, and some seriously shady tactics.
A rapper suing over a diss track? I haven't seen that before.
Right. Usually this kind of stuff stays behind the scenes. But this time, Drake's company, Frozen Moments, is taking UMG and Spotify to court, and they're not holding back.
And we've got the court documents, statements from UMG, and of course we'll be dissecting the diss track itself, which is Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us.
Okay, so let's break this down. What exactly is Drake claiming here?
Drake is saying that UMG went to some pretty extreme lengths to boost Lamar's track and damage his reputation, all to make a bigger profit.
We're not talking just like, extra promotion here.
No, we're talking accusations of using bots to fake streaming numbers, paying off radio stations, even claims that they got Siri on Apple devices to redirect people searching for Drake's music to the diss track instead.
Hold up, Siri's involved.
That's what Drake is claiming.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's true, that's messed up.
It really makes you think, right? What does chart success even mean anymore if someone can just manipulate the numbers like that?
Exactly. It completely undermines the whole system. So let's get into the specifics here. Drake's saying that UMG offered Spotify a massive discount, like 30%, on licensing fees for Not Like Us.
And the catch, they wanted Spotify to recommend the song more to their users.
So basically, Spotify's supposed to be giving us music recommendations based on what they think we'll like. But Drake's saying that they were essentially bribed to push Lamar's track.
Exactly, and that creates a huge conflict of interest. It's like if your friend started recommending restaurants only because they were getting paid to do it, you wouldn't trust their taste anymore.
Yeah, makes total sense. And then on top of that, there's the whole bot thing. What exactly are bots and how are they being used in this case?
Okay, so bots are basically computer programs designed to act like real people online.
So they can do things like stream songs.
Yep, and that's what Drake is accusing UMG of doing. Using bots to artificially inflate the number of streams, Not Like Us, was getting to make it look way more popular than it actually was.
So it's like cheating the system to get a song higher on the charts.
Exactly. And this isn't just a music industry problem. Bots are used all over the internet to manipulate things. But in music, where streaming numbers are directly tied to an artist's success and income, it's a big deal.
It's like stealing, basically, taking away opportunities from other artists who are playing by the rules.
Right, and on top of the bots and the Spotify deal, Drake's also claiming that UMG was engaging in good old-fashioned payola.
Payola,
Yeah.
like paying radio stations to play a song more.
You got it. It's been a problem in the music industry forever, and it's illegal for a reason. It creates an unfair advantage and can prevent other artists from getting their music heard.
So basically, Drake is saying that UMG was throwing money around to get Not Like Us more airtime on the radio.
Pretty much.
Wow. And then there's the whole Siri thing. I mean, that just sounds bizarre.
It's a pretty bold claim, but according to Drake, UMG actually paid Apple to have Siri steer people searching for his music towards Not Like Us instead.
Wait, so you're telling me that if I was trying to listen to my favorite Drake song, Siri might have actually suggested a diss track from his rival?
That's the allegation. It's like your own phone is betraying you.
Seriously, that's just creepy. We trusted these tech companies to be neutral, not to manipulate us like that.
It definitely raises questions about their ethics and whether they're prioritizing users over profit. I mean, imagine if Google started manipulating search results based on who paid them the most.
Okay, so with all these accusations flying around, how are UMG, Spotify, and Apple responding?
Well, for now, UMG is flat out denying everything. They're calling Drake's claims offensive and untrue, and saying they have high ethical standards.
So they're basically saying that fans are choosing to listen to Lamar's track, not because of any shady dealings behind the scenes.
Right, and so far, no comment from Spotify or Apple yet, and Kendrick Lamar himself has been silent on the issue.
But Drake isn't letting up. He filed a second lawsuit against UMG in Texas, this one focusing on defamation.
Yeah, this one's about the content of the diss track itself. Drake saying that UMG knew Not Like Us had some really damaging accusations in it and still chose to release it.
To really understand why this is such a big deal, I think we need to look at the history between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. It's not like this is their first time beefing.
They've been going back and forth with diss tracks for a while now, and this track is just the latest shot fired.
Let's actually listen to some of the lyrics from Not Like Us. There are lines about Drake liking young girls, and even mentioned certified pedophiles.
Yeah, those are serious accusations, and it's understandable why Drake wouldn't want them out there.
It's one thing to have a little competition, but when you start throwing around accusations like that publicly, things get real.
It goes way beyond just music at that point. It's about reputation and potentially careers being damaged.
And that's where the defamation lawsuit comes in. Drake's arguing that UMG, as his label, had a responsibility to protect him, not to release a song that could hurt his image.
It's a tough spot for a label to be in, for sure.
This whole thing is really exposing the complex relationship between artists, their labels, and these giant streaming platforms that control so much of the music we hear.
It raises a lot of questions about who holds the power in these situations and what responsibility labels have to their artists, not just to promote them, but to protect them.
It feels like the balance of power might be a little off right now.
And this case could be a major turning point in shifting that balance, making the industry a little more fair for artists.
So the big question is, why would UMG allegedly go to all this trouble? Drake saying it's all about the money, that they were trying to cash in on the hype surrounding a diss track.
Money is a powerful motivator, for sure, but could there be more to it?
Like why?
Well, we were talking earlier about potential internal power struggles within UMG itself, different labels, different executives, all vying for control and influence.
So it's possible this isn't just about Drake and Kendrick. It's about bigger forces at play within the company.
Exactly. It could be different branches of the same company competing against each other, trying to prove who's got the bigger star, the better ear for what's hot.
That's insane. It's like we're getting a peek behind the curtain in the music industry, and it's not pretty.
Not always. This whole situation might just be the tip of the iceberg, exposing how decisions are really made in the industry, the power dynamics, the rivalries, the drive for profit above all else.
It's a side of the industry that we as music fans don't often get to see.
And it raises a lot of uncomfortable questions about that ethics of it all. Are artists just pawns in a bigger game? Are we all just being manipulated by algorithms and marketing
This
schemes?
whole situation is like opening Pandora's box, and who knows what's going to come out.
Well, one thing's for sure, this case could have a domino effect on the entire music industry, not just Drake and Kendrick.
You mean if these allegations are proven true?
Absolutely. It could lead to more artists speaking out, demanding more control, more transparency from their labels and the streaming platforms.
It could completely change the way music is promoted, consumed, even how we define success in the industry.
It's a story with potentially huge consequences, and we're just starting to see how it unfolds.
And you know we're going to be following every twist and turn right here on the Deep Dive.
Definitely. But let's not forget about the fans. They're a big part of this story too, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're the ones who ultimately decide what music they listen to, what becomes a hit. And I'm seeing a lot of mixed reactions to this whole situation on social media.
Yeah, some fans are siding with Kendrick, thinking Drake's just being a sore loser.
Yeah, I saw a tweet that said something like, Drake needs to get over it. Kendrick won this round.
But others are Team Drake all the way. They see him as fighting for what's right, standing up to a powerful label that's trying to control everything.
And then there are others who are just fascinated by the drama of it all, the back and forth, the legal battles, the whole soap opera aspect of this feud.
This is way more than just a beef between two rappers, though.
It's a battle that could have lasting implications on the entire industry.
And it's a reminder that even in the digital age, with all the technology and streaming platforms, the music industry is still a human business, full of egos, ambitions, and sometimes, yeah, even conspiracies.
This deep dive is already blowing my mind. There's so much to unpack here.
And we're just getting started. We've got a lot more to discuss in the next part of our deep dive, so stick around.
We'll be back after a quick break.
We were just talking about the motivations behind all this, and whether it goes beyond just UMG trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, the whole idea of these internal power struggles within UMG, different labels fighting for dominance.
Right. It's like we're seeing a sibling rivalry play out, but on a corporate level.
With Drake and Kendrick as the prize.
You could say that, yeah. Remember, they're signed to different subsidiaries within UMG, Interscope for Lamar and Republic for Drake.
So it's like two different teams under the same umbrella.
Exactly. And each team wants to prove they've got the winning player.
So you're saying this could be less about the music itself and more about like executives trying to climb the ladder.
It's definitely a possibility. Think of it like a game of chess, but instead of pieces, you've got artists and their careers.
That's kind of messed up.
It's the music business. It can be pretty cutthroat.
I guess that makes sense, but still, you'd think UMG would see the value in both Drake and Kendrick.
Oh, they absolutely do, but the music industry is all about what's next, what's hot right now. And maybe, just maybe, they see Drake as, well, yesterday's news.
You think so? I mean, the guy is still huge.
He is, but there's always a new wave coming, new artists, new sounds, and UMG might be shifting their focus, putting their resources behind who they see as the future.
It's still pretty ruthless, though, right? To just kind of, I don't know, push aside someone like Drake after all he's done for the label.
It might seem that way, but remember, UMG is a company, a business at the end of the day, and their bottom line is profit.
So maybe it's less about personal feelings and more about just, like, cold, hard calculations.
Exactly. They have shareholders to answer to. They have to make decisions that are good for the company, even if it means, some artists might feel slighted.
I guess that makes sense from a business perspective, but it's still kind of sad.
It highlights the need for artists to really understand the business side of things, to be smart about their contracts, to know their worth.
We're seeing more and more artists demanding more control, right?
Yeah.
Like wanting to own their master recordings.
Absolutely. And this whole situation with Drake and UMG, it could be a wake-up call for a lot of artists.
Making them realize they need to be more assertive, more in control of their own careers.
Exactly. It could be a catalyst for real change in the industry.
Okay, so let's talk about the legal strategy here. Because I
Alright.
gotta say, that RICO lawsuit that Drake filed, that seems pretty extreme.
It is unusual. IRA is typically used for organized crime, not music industry disputes.
So why would Drake's lawyers go that route? It seems like overkill for a case about a diss track,
It could be a strategic move, a way to raise the stakes.
like a power move.
You could say that. By invoking RIO, they're essentially accusing UMG of engaging in a pattern of criminal activity, not just a one-off incident.
So it's like they're saying, this isn't just a mistake, this is a whole system of corruption.
Exactly. And it also guarantees maximum media attention.
Yeah, everyone's talking about the Drake RICO case.
It puts UMG on the defensive.
So it's a legal strategy, but also a PR strategy.
It's both. It's about winning in the courtroom and winning in the court of public opinion.
Smart.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a second and talk about Spotify, because if Drake's allegations about pay-for-play are true, that's a big problem for them. Right.
Hugely. Think about it. People trust Spotify to recommend music they'll enjoy, but what if those recommendations are being manipulated?
Yeah, you start to question everything.
It erodes trust. And in the digital age, trust is everything.
People already have their suspicions about how these algorithms work, but this could confirm their worst fears.
If Drake wins, Spotify might have to completely rethink their whole system, be way more transparent about their algorithms, how they're curated, all of that.
And what about Apple and the whole Siri thing? I mean, that's a different level of creepy.
It really is. It makes you wonder what other ways our tech is being used to manipulate us.
It's like something out of a Black Mirror episode, right? Your own device is turning against you.
It's a slippery slope, and this case could be a turning point in how we think about the role of technology in our lives.
We're so reliant on these devices, these algorithms. We need to be more aware of how they can be used to influence us.
This case is forcing us to confront those uncomfortable truths.
But despite all the negative stuff, all the accusations and the potential fallout, I also kind of feel like something good could come out of this.
How so?
It feels like this whole situation is waking people up, making them realize that the music industry isn't always this glamorous, happy-go-lucky world.
Yeah, there's a lot of darkness lurking beneath the surface.
But now it's out in the open, and maybe that's a good thing. It's starting a conversation
A conversation that needs to happen.
about the power dynamics, about how artists are treated, about how we consume music in the digital age.
It's a conversation that could lead to real change, a more equitable industry, a more empowered artist community.
It's like a shakeup, a chance to rebuild things better.
And maybe, just maybe, that's what Drake's trying to do. He's not just fighting for himself, he's fighting for all artists.
That's a pretty inspiring way to look at it.
This could be a turning point, a moment where things really start to shift.
And we're here for it.
This deep dive is far from over. There's still so much to unpack, so many questions to answer.
We've been digging deep into this Drake versus UMG situation.
And it's clear this is more than just a celebrity feud, right? This case has the potential to send shockwaves through the entire music industry.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about fundamental issues here, like how much power do artists really have?
Right, and how transparent should these streaming platforms be? What responsibility do record labels have to protect their artists?
It's like we're pulling back the curtain and seeing the inner workings of the industry, all the messy stuff that usually gets swept under the rug.
And honestly, I don't think things will ever be the same.
You think so? That's a pretty bold statement.
Think about it. If Drake wins this case, it could set a major precedent.
Other artists might be more likely to come forward with their own stories.
Exactly. And labels might be forced to rethink how they operate, how they treat their artists, how they promote music.
The whole power dynamic could shift.
Potentially. We might see a wave of artists demanding more control, more ownership over their work.
And what about the streaming services? I mean, if these allegations about pay-for-play are true, that's a huge blow to their credibility.
It is. It makes you question every playlist, every
Are
recommendation.
we really listening to what we like or what someone's paying to push on us?
And it raises a deeper question about the nature of success in the digital age. What does it even mean for a song to be a hit anymore?
Is it about the music or is it about the algorithm?
That's something we all need to think about. Artists, fans, everyone.
Because at the end of the day, music is about connection, it's about emotion, it's about art.
And we can't let the business side completely overshadow that.
This whole situation has been a wild ride, a real eye-opener.
But it's also been incredibly thought-provoking.
It's forced us to ask some tough questions about the music industry, about the technology we use, about our own role as consumers,
And I hope those questions stay with us even after this case is over.
because the conversation needs to continue. We need to keep pushing for a more fair, more transparent, more artist-centric music industry.
Absolutely. That's the only way we can ensure that the music we love, the music that moves us, continues to thrive.
So that's it for this deep dive, folks.
Thanks for joining us on this crazy journey.
And remember, keep questioning, keep listening, and keep supporting the artists who inspire you. We'll catch you next time.